What if your customers are trying to find your business online, but instead of finding you, they find your competitors? Now, more than ever, it's time to make sure you have the right SEO to make your business stand out online. Welcome to Go Mind Your Business with Terri Bork, presented by ExtremeMarketingConcepts, putting your business in front of the hungry herd of buyers who are looking for you right now. ExtremeMarketingConcepts, helping you drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition. And now, here's Terri.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Go Mind Your Business. My name is Terri Bork, and welcome to our program today. I'm really excited. I have a very special guest for you guys. I actually met him at NAMS back in February and was so impressed with him and what he does. His name is Paul Taubman, and he does WordPress wonderful magic, and he's able to guide people who know nothing about creating a WordPress website or any type of website for that matter, and take them through the whole gamut of getting your website up online, getting products up there, working with it, talking on it so that you can make connections and then, start growing your business. So please help me welcome Paul to our program today. Welcome, Paul.
Well, thank you very much. What a nice intro.
Yeah. So, like I said, Paul does a lot of work with the NAMS organization. He's one of the trainers that's there, and he does a wonderful thing for the level 1 people, which is the just getting started folks, and really helping them get that WordPress up right physically there at the event, so they actually can go home with a website. So let's talk about WordPress for a little bit, Paul. Why is a WordPress site so important for our listeners to use so that they can get greater success in their online business?
Okay, well, first of all, I think WordPress is a great tool that people can use to get their website up. Obviously, at this point, if people are starting an online business or just a business, brick and mortar, whatever it is, service, if it's a product company that they're running, everybody needs to have a website, right? I mean, it's almost a given now. Anytime you meet somebody and you want to do business with them, one of the first things that they'll be doing is going home or going to their office and checking you out online to see, who you are, what your credibility is, what you do, and all that kind of stuff. So it's great, and everybody should have a website, in my opinion. Now, the reason for WordPress is that, let me back up a second and say that WordPress is just one of many ways that people can create a website, right? There's different ways they can create a site using, .NET, which some people may have heard of. It's very technical, or Joomla, or Drupal, different ways, or even HTML, sort of what I call the traditional way to create a website. But the problem with those technologies or those platforms, it's technical. It's kind of difficult for the average person to go in and make changes or make updates to their website. You probably remember in the past, right? You don't hear that much too often, because in the past, people would have somebody else create their websites for them and update them and make changes. And anytime you wanted something to change, you had to go back and forth and go to your webmaster and say, hey, I want this change made. And they'll say, okay, I'll get to it next week. You kind of play email tag or phone mail tag, and it just makes it very difficult to get things done when you have to rely on somebody else to maintain your website. So using WordPress, you can create your site relatively easy, a lot easier than the other technologies, and even more importantly is updated. And if you wake up at 2 in the morning, you think, aha, I have a great idea for a sale or a special or some special offer that you want to do, you can do it right then. You're not in the hands of somebody else to do it. So I used to have all my clients on other type of sites, WordPress years ago, I said, you know what, this is the way to do it, because it allowed me to build a site for them if they wanted to, or teach them how to do it. And then they can take control of the website and kind of not rely on me anymore, which freed me up to do bigger and better things, and it freed them up because they're in control. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are there some favorite plugins maybe that our audience would really want to consider putting on their WordPress website so that it can work better for them?
Okay, that's a great question. So first, let me explain what a plugin is, in case everybody doesn't know. A plugin is just a piece of additional code, or a program that you can literally plug in to your website, and it does something extra. So, for example, WordPress by itself is almost like a base. Think of it as when you purchase a new house or a new construction. The builder, the architect, gives the plan and says, here's your house. And you say, great, it's everything I wanted, but I'm really an avid gamer and play pool, and I want to add on, or I want to plug in a specific room that I can put my pool table in, that has built-in places for the cue sticks, and an inset where I can rack the balls, and whatever it is, to make it a very specialized room just to play pool. Okay? Most people probably don't want that in a house, right? But if this builder goes, great, imagine if he can just go to his shelf, say, here, I have plans already for that specific room, let me just add it on into your house, boom, it's done. So a plugin is just like that for a computer or for a website. Not everybody needs e-commerce. Not everybody will be selling something with a shopping cart. They may be happy to simply use PayPal buttons. Well, with a plugin, you can just add that in and automatically have that functionality. Okay, so that makes sense of what a plugin is.
Yes, that's very helpful for what a plugin is. Thank you.
Okay, so now my favorites, is that what you were asking?
Yes, some favorite plugins that really help your WordPress.
Okay, so clearly security is a big issue for WordPress. You may hear every once in a while people say, oh my gosh, WordPress is not safe, it's not secure. And that's not necessarily true. It's just as safe and secure as a lot of other sites that are out there. Nobody, if you have a website, you're not safe, period. I mean, think of it, if the Pentagon has websites and they get hacked, how can we compete with that? So the only way to be safe is not to have a website. But with that said, go back to that house analogy. Not safe. You go, well, what do you mean? Well, look, you don't even have a door on it, or you have a door, but you don't lock the door. That's not going to be safe at all. So if you take some precautions, you're going to make yourself a lot more secure, a lot more safe. You're going to make it a lot more difficult for hackers to break into your site. So two plugins related to security that I absolutely love and I install on all my client sites are, one of them is called iThemes Security. That's iThemes, if I can spell correctly, iThemes Security. And that's a free plugin that people can get in the WordPress plugin area. And that can configure your site so that it locks it down, it makes it safe, it makes it secure, it does a whole bunch of things. And then in conjunction with that, there's another plugin called WordFence, W-O-R-D. That's one word, WordFence, and it kind of fills some of there's a little bit of overlay between the two, but it also fills in some additional gaps so that you are really, really safe and secure. So those are two plugins that are great for security that I highly recommend. Was there a particular area or anything? Because we could have a interview like this and just talk about plugins all day long. Because they are so specialized and depending on what people need, we can talk about it all day. So
I got it. So is there, do So the plugins to protect your website are very, very important. Are there any other plugins maybe that someone would want to get to make their posting easier, or pictures to make their blog posts look pretty?
Okay, so let's talk about pictures and pictures and make the post easier. One of the first things that came to mind when you said that, I'm not sure if that's what you meant, but was social media.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Giving people the ability to share your posts on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, all the social media sites. That's certainly a key thing, because a lot of people don't realize that with a WordPress website, you can actually start to build a community, even if you don't have what's called a membership site. Just by having your regular site where you're posting information and sharing information, you can engage your visitors, your clients, your potential customers using social media simply by letting them add comments, right? So that's the first thing. And replying to them. A lot of times people will get comments on their site and not reply to them. And I'm guilty of that. When I first started, I go, oh, great, a comment. Oh, great, a comment. Then I realized, well, I should probably reply back to let them know that there's actually somebody here, right? So even though it's not plugin related, a little tip is anytime somebody leaves a comment, always reply, because it feels good to them and they feel good and they'll want to come back to your site. But getting back to the plugins, a lot of sites these days will have the Facebook like button on it, and that's actually a plugin called FB like button, which will allow people to click on it and it will save it to their wall as a status on Facebook. So then all their friends can see it, and then their friends, and so on and so on and so on. So that's a great plugin. Another one that I like is called Shareaholic, and that actually gives you the capability to share on, a gazillion social media sites. I don't even know what some of those sites are that they allow you, but you can configure and say, I want Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Dig, StumbleUpon, but the whole gamut. I want to be able to email, I want to Google Plus it, I want to, all these obscure sites that I don't even have time to check out and get into, but there's a whole slew of them, which is amazing if you think about it.
Oh, very cool. So let me ask you, is there really a big difference, because I'm going to come back to plugins in a minute, is there a big difference between having your WordPress site on your own domain or using a blogger type WordPress account?
Okay, so the easy answer is yes. Next question. Oh, that's probably not good. Let me give you the full answer. So, going back to the house bit, there's two. People always confuse this because they think of it that there are two WordPresses. One is WordPress.com and the other is WordPress.org. Now, WordPress.com, anybody can go there and set up a blog right now, and it's free, and you get everything that you can do. Okay, you can start a website, you can start posting and putting pages up and do everything. The big difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is that on WordPress.com, which is the same thing as similar to Blogger and all these other sites that you can create a website with blogging software, is that number one is that they're in control. So let's go back to the house. With WordPress.com, you're a tenant in somebody else's building. They have certain rules. Like, if you want to add on another room, or you want to paint this a bizarre color, or you want to add a garage, you can't do that if you're renting a house. You have to get permission from the landlord, and they may say yes or they may say no. Well, the same thing is true on WordPress.com. You're a tenant. You're only renting or leasing space from them and have to follow by their rules. Some of their rules, by the way, include things like you cannot sell products that aren't your own. You can't, I think last time I checked, if you're an author, you can sell your book, but not a whole lot of other things. So if you're doing affiliate marketing, they can shut you down right away because they don't allow that. The other thing is that with WordPress.com, you would probably get a domain name like paul.wordpress.com, which does not look very professional. Now, you can get your own domain name and hook it up to that, but the big thing is you're still a tenant on somebody else's site. WordPress.org, on the other hand, allows you to get that same software that WordPress.com is running and allow it to be installed on your own server, on your own website, on your own computers. So this way you can have the same functionality, but now you're the owner. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. So if you want to start selling, somebody else's products, go ahead. If you want to start putting, pictures on whatever it is that you want, you're allowed to. If you want to link to other sites, you can. If you want to add your own plugins that you want to choose, you can do that. WordPress.com doesn't always allow you to do that. So, for example, one of the first things we talked about was an e-commerce plugin, the ability to have a shopping cart. Because WordPress.com doesn't allow you to do a lot of sales, they don't allow that plugin to be installed. So that's why it's so important that you have your own website, you have your own, technically it's called a domain name. You have a domain that you install the software so you can create your own WordPress site on your own site. Make sense?
That's really helpful. Thank you, Paul. So guys, Blogger's great because it's a Google property, but Blogger's not as great as owning your own stuff, and you should always own your own stuff out there, and then you can kind of do what you want with it and grow your business the way that you want to. Now, Paul, as a teacher,
exactly.
Do you notice a lot of your students run into certain type of roadblocks when they're setting up their WordPress website that keeps them from getting going?
I consider my students two type of people. Okay? The first type is people who come to me and say, I'm trying to set up my site and I'm confused. Right? And then we develop a relationship and I step them through the process of what needs to be done. So for a lot of people, when they start out with their site, they just get confused because this is something that they've never done before. Right? So it's new, it's different. I used to go around telling people, oh, it's easy, it's easy, it's easy. Until finally one day somebody said, well, yeah, it's easy because you know how to do it. And it was like a light bulb went off and go, oh, yeah, how to do it. Right? NASA guys think it's easy building a rocket ship, but I ain't no rocket scientist. So the key is to kind of know what you're doing. So once you know what you're doing and you have that guidance, I think the biggest problem that people have is with anything new, there's that excitement level that gets them going, and then when they realize, oh, wait, I'm going to have to do additional things, there's that, some people get that little bit of disappointment that, oh, I thought, I saw all these people say, put up a website and by the weekend you'll make $1,000 a day, right? Because of the hype that's out there in the industry, the biggest problem that some people have is realizing that there is no silver bullet. It's not a quick fix. It's not a get rich overnight type of thing. And they have to realize that, yes, this is work. Once you have a website, it's like an author who writes a book. People think, oh my gosh, I could never write a book. And then when they get over that hurdle, they go, wow, look, I wrote a book, which is great. However, the successful authors then have to work their butts off promoting it and getting into bookstores and going on book tours and getting the word out and doing everything that goes along with the promotion. Well, the same thing is true with a website. If you build it, they will come. Well, that's not true. Right? If you just have a website out there, you have to drive traffic. You have to work on the SEO. It's work. So for people to think it's a set it and forget it type of thing, that's not necessarily the case. Once you put systems in place to do all these things and you have a regular routine, and that could be different for different people, then things are, I'm going to say, easier, but it's not, just walk away and let it be. It needs love. It needs nurturing.
I got it. Okay, awesome. So once they get that website built and it's up there, is it I know, I'm guilty. I think it's easy too. Now that I know what I'm doing, and I've took the time to fight with my WordPress. I remember the first time I installed WordPress myself, it took me like 15 hours. But it worked, and I was so happy. 15 hours. Now I could do this like,
That's a good feeling.
5 minutes, but back then, 15 hours was like, oh, I felt so good after it was over. It was like labor.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know how that is, but I can imagine.
it was painful. A different kind of pain, but a great reward at the end, right? And my WordPress website at the end was fantastic. And now, so many themes and things you can make your WordPress site look like. I could get the same theme as you, and our websites can be completely different because we could turn on different features and play. It's so awesome. I love WordPress.
Exactly, and just so everybody else knows, the theme is just the way that your site looks and feels. So the underlying structure is the same, but you can tweak things, you can change things. Again, the easiest analogy, I keep going back to this, the home builder. You can get the same house as somebody else, but you can paint it a different color, you can change the cabinets, you can change the placements of some of the rooms, you can do all kinds of things, and you would never know that you actually started out with something that started out to be the same.
Perfect. So I know that you teach a program, and it's right here, guys, WP Mastery. Tell us about the Mastery program that you teach people on how to get their website up and going.
Okay. So it's a great program, if I do say so myself. It's 8 weeks long, and what we do is we start as if you have nothing. So we actually go through, and I do a live case study as we go through each and every course. So as a group, typically we'll pick an area, a new niche, an area that kind of is good. So what I mean by good, we talk about there are good sites and there are bad sites, right? Well, in order to have a really good site, and by good I mean it's profitable, it's making money, we have to look at an area of the marketplace that there's a need and that people are ready to spend some money. So if I create a website on selling pet rocks, that's going to be a lot harder than if I do something in a really hot market these days. Right? So we talk about how to pick a hot market if people don't have something. Right? If you're selling your own product or service, obviously that's what you want to promote, and that's great, and we can get people to do that. So we pick an area in the marketplace. We go out and we get a domain name, we get a website name, we get hosting, and this is all live, this is interactive, people are on the calls watching and listening and asking questions. And from that point, we go ahead and we install WordPress, we configure it, we fine-tune it, it gets optimized. We talk about different plugins. We only talked about a few here, but there's a whole slew, and we get into specifics of what each individual person needs. We talk about different themes, which you brought up. So what would be a good theme for one person might not necessarily be advantageous to use on somebody else's site. So we talk about some of those differences. So eventually you'll have your site up and running, right? And you'll know how to add pages and change the menu and add content and posts and all that kinds of good things. But as I said, that's just the first step. Then we move on to things like driving traffic, getting people to your website. There's free methods and there's paid methods. A lot of times, we take a vote. If people want to talk about the free methods, that's what we concentrate on because there's so many of them. Typically, people say, well, how do I get some really good targeted advertising to get people to my site? Well, then we talk about paid advertising to get to the site. SEO, search engine optimization, so that when people start searching Google, you want your site to come up, right? Well, we talk about that in depth and how to increase the SEO on the website and different plugins that can be used and different on-page SEO, different type of techniques that people can employ to get higher rankings on Google and in Alexa, etc. So like I said, once you build your website, there's a whole bunch of other things that have to go along with it. And all along, questions come up. So there's time built in for Q&A and specific answers to specific problems. So it's a pretty neat program. It meets once a week. for a couple hours, and like I said, lasts about 2 months or so. And by the end of it, we also talk about affiliate marketing, or how to sell your own product. A lot of times people come with products already. A lot of times people go, I don't know what to sell. I don't have anything. The past we've talked about product creation, how to create that product so that you can sell it. So by the end of the course, people can have a successful website where they're actually making money from it, which is always a good thing, right? What else? We talk about list building. I mean, it's just a whole bunch of stuff out there that we do. Talk about list building and engaging clients and building a relationship via email and different techniques to do that.
Oh, it's so great, you know, and what I really love about it is that no matter where you are in your marketing knowledge, going from nothing all the way through to all of the different segments that Paul's covered, you can be an expert and still learn new things because the internet evolves and WordPress evolves and what you can do keeps evolving. So it's so great that you don't have to be a newbie to do his program. You'll get something for yourself, you know, once, especially in the list building pieces and in some of the more advanced things that he's teaching.
Yeah, I actually have people that come through the course that have 6- and 7-figure businesses. And when they signed up, I was like, really? You're here? She goes, yeah. Even though this one particular client that I'm thinking of, she didn't do her website. She always outsources them. You know, have an educated viewpoint when she says, I need these changes made, and her person says, oh, that's going to be this, this, and this. And, you know, she goes, no, it's not. I know it's this, right? I know it's a lot easier than that. So, you know, you get education even if you're hiring it out to somebody else. So, you know, a lot of times people will get quotes for websites and they'll say, oh, it's $5,000. And it's like, great, what kind of site is it? It's WordPress. You go, really? $5,000? I know that that could be done for a lot faster than what you're telling me. So it also empowers people just to have that knowledge. And for those people who do websites, you know, I guarantee that people will learn something from it, and it's definitely going to be worth the small VAs who are looking to expand their skills rather than just do some simple sort of admin type work. If they can add to their repertoire of skills to say, yeah, I can build you a website, you know, that's going to make them that much more valuable. So it's a whole gamut. Come and take the course, and you know, it's fun too.
Oh, I think WordPress is a lot of fun. And you can find it right here, guys, terribork.com/WP Mastery, WP WordPress Mastery. So awesome. So I'm really excited. I think you guys, you know, go check it out. And then I want to know about the various websites that you're building and what you're learning. And I can't wait to see all your progress. And it's wonderful. And, you know, Paul's the real deal. You know, NAM's a huge organization teaching this stuff. They bring Paul in to teach everybody in NAM's, and you don't have to be a newbie to go to his course. You know, you learn, you know, just by being present and being in the various classrooms. You can be advanced and show up in the, you know, just to get a little bit of something for your WordPress there. So, you know, NAMS trusts him. I trust him. And I know you can trust him and get so much for yourself out of his program. So you'll find it here, terribork.com/WP Mastery. So Paul, great stuff. So much shared for free today. I really appreciate that. Thanks for getting my back.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, so cool. Anything else you want to share? Wait,
you know, how many hours do you have? You know, I could keep talking about this for days. So if you ever want, we can reschedule and do something else.
Oh,
take it a little bit more in depth.
Oh, I would love that, and I know that a lot of folks that listen in on our program, they would love that too. We're always, you know, looking to grow our skills, you know, because our website is our business. Without our website working properly, we really have nothing. So it needs to work, needs to be secure, and you need to get your products up there and sell, whether it's a service or a physical product. And so go get Paul's course. You'll find it right here. Thanks again, Paul, for coming out and sharing with me today. I had a great time.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and any final word that you want to leave us with today?
Just stick with it. Go through it. Your success is right around the corner, and have fun while you're doing it. That's the key for me. Is enjoy what you're doing, and remember that it's a journey.
Yeah, awesome. Great stuff, guys. And, thank you again, Paul, for being with us. It was so wonderful to have you learn more about WordPress. And you know what, guys? Until we talk again next time, go use this stuff, terribork.com/WP Mastery. And until we meet again, go mind your business. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next time. Y'all take care now. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Go Mind Your Business with Terri Bork, presented by Extreme Marketing Concepts. If you want to drive more traffic, dominate the market, and crush your competition, find out how by visiting our website, www.extrememarketingconcepts.com. And join Terri next time for another episode of Go Mind Your Business.